Okay, look, it should have started a new stream. Good God, look at this thing. That's a monthly chart, weekly chart. Hell of a breakout right there. Man. Quite a long time to make though. Wow, WWE. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but like the screen to the phone's completely off.
What do you mean?
Like, I want to see your reaction time. So when I tell you to move somewhere, I want to see how long it takes you to move to be on the screen, so I can know when you're talking about something.
Oh no, there's always gonna be a little delay on the live streams, so don't even. That ain't even the point. So okay, so WWE. Oh, hold on a second. I'm gonna take a look at this Chrome. See what it did today.
I think she's in a downward spiral.
Huh?
I think she's in a downward spiral.
No. Look at this. No, this ain't so bad. Yeah, it's got to let it trade out. Should start holding 6. So I need some more. It needs to trade sideways a little bit more. You got 2 peaks, 3 peaks. Pay attention. You have.
I picked up at 77.70.
You're holding from 770?
Yeah, 77.70.
This thing was never 77. You mean $7.70?
No.
Oh, you're talking about WWE. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I was looking at Kronos. All right.
Oh, you see, that's why I just heard the WWE.
Yeah. Don't keep that sound off. Yeah, I mean, this thing looks like it's gonna start rolling over. I mean, it's way up there, man. And you're under the 20 SMA now. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, you see the pink 20 SMA?
Uh-huh.
All right, look. It's starting to get exhausted. You have this entire trajectory over the 20. Over the 20. And we're talking over the 20. Little dip under. You know, could pull this situation here, but yeah. It's going to be a slow one. But anyways, you may have support here on the 50. You're going to have some support here at 75. But I think that most likely, and then considering how the overall market, let's take a look. Nah, that's not bad about here. You know, it's kind of running out of steam, man. You got the MACD and a downward trajectory, so maybe this will test a 75-ish before, because you got a lot of here. You gotta. One thing you want to do is draw the line in the sand, right? So what are we looking at? Where the resistance is. So I'm gonna step away to 1 hour chart. Let me turn this off. Pay attention, man. All right. Start drawing the line in the sand. All right, so 75, 76, 76.50, but 76 more than anything. It's going to be a key number. So I'm gonna put a line there as a reference. Let me adjust that. 76, edit properties. I like to make it exact. All right, so yeah, you have it here around 76, 64, but ultimately 76 is gonna be an area of interest as a round number. But you can see this right here.
To buy in?
No. It doesn't mean to buy. It's just a level to watch.
Okay.
It's a level that's gonna need to hold, because otherwise, you know, you got a test here of this support area. You draw another line here. This is gonna be your short-term support, and you can see a test here.
What's your wait a minute? What's your chart? What is your time chart? What are you reading?
That is a 1 hour time frame.
On what? On a year?
Just probably 90 days. I don't think you can do a year 1 hour. I'm not sure, but that's yeah, it's a 90-day 1 hour. Doesn't really matter. We're looking at a couple weeks. You know what I mean? Just yeah, 2 weeks worth. The very top of this formation. Okay. And I'm actually.
Hey, give me 1 second. My MSA lines are gone. I don't have them no more.
Your what?
The lines, the green line, the blue line.
All your moving averages are gone?
Yeah.
You're just
Remember
gonna.
I told you when it reset?
Yeah, you're just gonna have to look at mine on the screen.
Okay.
All right, so look. Okay, 80 is a level of interest. Okay. 76, 60, 76, 75, 76, 70. Support's never exact. You know, it's gonna be it's more of an area. All right, so you're looking at here. You see this test, right? You see this test. You see this test. Basically, keep knocking on the door. You're eventually gonna get that door open. Okay. Here's your 200-day moving average. Here's your 50-day moving average. Here's your 20. Here's your 13, and your VWAP. I like to use all 4 of those. Or 5. Now, if I zoom in a little more, you can see right here that the price is trading under all of these.
Back and forth, yeah.
Right. So so it's showing some signs of getting tired. Maybe some consolidation, but it needs to continue to trade and bounce around in here between 76 and 80, possibly over 80 for another move up. For now, I mean, you got some signs of exhaustion. You got some peaks, some tails, or actually what we call wicks. Wick here, wick there, wick. Price has not been able to trade over 85 basically. Yes, it's pretty much 85. So there's definitely some overhead supply at 85. More than likely some profit taking, some short selling, short covering, way up at the tip. But this big red candle here is an exhaustion candle. Then you got another wick here. You have another wick here indicating supply. Price try to trade above 80, or I'm sorry, yeah, roughly 79, 80, and it failed. You got a failure here. Try to test.
How many times did it fail? How many times did it fail at 79?
You mean 80? Well, it's failed several times. First of all, it failed to trade over 80 in this area. Yeah, it went up, but you could see the signs of selling. Big red candle until it finally gave in. Came under 80, try to test, try to trade above. Problem is now you have all this supply here. There's a lot of people trapped here that bought. You know, there's always going to be bag holders. And so if you have an area of congestion here, that is full of traders that are stuck, anytime this tries to rip through, some of these people are going to unload. And that's literally what creates supply, is it's basically selling. Right? So we try to get above 80, we found more supply. Right? That spike got sold into. Try to trade again, try to move over, failed, try to move over, failed, and now just making a lower high. Every peak is getting lower. So it's kind of, you know, it's not one that you'd want to buy here. I mean, it's also overextended. It's just the risk-reward scenario is just not the most attractive. Not to say it might not go up. It could, but the most likely thing to happen would be for this thing to take a break, either sideways or through a correction. So, you know, possible test of 76, maybe even 75. You're going to note, and I'll find some examples, that when you see an area consolidation like this, let me see. You have this area here, okay, and if price starts going through this previous area, in other words down here, you're gonna trigger a lot of stops, because there's a lot of traders involved in this trade. All these people here, all these traders, all these trades that went long, they're currently up on the trade. They're happy. They're not necessarily, you know, if they held and they didn't sell, you're going to have an area of volume here. Always keep an eye on these little islands. I like to call them islands, as an area of consolidation like this in an uptrend. Because once it starts dipping here, these people are going to start seeing their position. You know, if they were up a certain amount and they held, and this thing starts, you know, rolling over, they're basically going to be back at break even. A lot of these are usually going to trigger a lot of stop losses and you know, a lot of selling. You know, anything below this area here. So if this thing was to plow through 76, 75, 74, it should trigger a nice pull. That's a likely scenario. So anyways, but what you want to be looking at, man, right now, pot stocks. Take a look at this. CANN, Canopy Growth. Look at this thing is up, holy shit, up 30% today. And that's not a cheap, it's not necessarily a cheap stock. On the weekly, look at the weekly.
Which one? Wait, what is that?
Canopy.
CGC?
Yep. That is a very strong trend. I mean, that actually put it in today. Look at this volume here. Now, the week is not over, so this weekly candle right now is meaningless. For now, it looks good, but it needs to close strong. But look at this trend. I mean, this thing, it's a little volatile, though. You can see how, I mean, you could, this thing, 28 to 18. I mean, this could, you know, this is something you don't want to chase. You chase it, you end up getting caught in one of these, you know. It's easy to get shaken out of your position. So I'm going to go back to the daily chart. And I drew this line in the sand here a while back. So, yeah, 32, 31, yeah, 32 is a level of interest. So you can see right here, 32 has been a lot of supply. You know, you got, look at all these wicks. 1, 2, 3, you could call these. You got this one, try to trade and fail. Try to trade and fail. Now we're back over this 32. And it actually...
So it's about 30, what? what is it, 31?
It closed at 32.11, so we closed over 32. And it's only been able to do that less than a handful of times.
So you're saying it's about to go down?
I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is just an observation for now. Yes, if this thing continues to trend, then at that point you look for an entry. But just because you're making an observation, that doesn't mean, oh, it's going to go up or down. But, you know, you can see it's failed and failed, but now we're back over. So, it's pretty strong, man. It's not, you know, plus you're talking about Constellation Brands investing another $4 billion into this company. So, you know, you could say smart money is moving in. You can speculate on that. So, you know, you just gotta watch it. Gotta watch it. Maybe.
Okay. So what is a good entry? What is?
It depends on what it does. So you just can't. Ideally, maybe a pullback, slow pullback. Like let these moving averages catch up, and this starts consolidating sideways. And when these moving averages start catching up, like sort of an example here. You know, you got this move up through the 20 and then a consolidation sideways. And then you're on top of the moving averages. So if this moving averages, the 20, I like to see the 20 start coming up. Wish I had a drawing tool, but let's just say this is the 20. Never mind here.
Okay, let me ask you a question. When did the stock IPO?
For what? I mean, what does it matter?
Oh, I just want to know when the stock was live. Went live. How long it's been in the stock market?
I mean, you can Google search that. I mean, that's not, you know. I mean, you can see a 10-year chart here. You know, we go back. Okay. Let's see. Oh, no, this is not a 10-year. This is a 3-week. So this is a 10 years. So I mean, you could say it started back on. It's been trading since 2014. So. That was at $2 back then. So it's been around for a while. I mean, it's 4 or 5 years or whatever. But, you know, you'd have to take a look into the company a little bit more so you know exactly, you know, if you're going to hold for a while. But normally, it's all short-term trades for me. You know, in and out. I don't marry the stock. And so... But, you know, this is one to watch tomorrow. Another one that I have on my watch list. This doesn't mean they're buys. There's just things that I'm watching. Market's very choppy. It's very slow. So this month what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take advantage and continue finishing up building the office. And just keep watching. Keep watching stocks. And probably get back in September. Hopefully starts picking up. September, October. Just pretty dead, pretty thin market right now. That had a nice bounce off of 2. Support at 2, whole dollar round number. I'm not gonna say a nice bounce. Whoa, I'm like way out here. Actually, that's decent, man. That's 207, 248. Yeah, you got a 15% move today. One second. Anyway, so that's another pot stock, BUDZ. I kind of wanted it. I was looking at this one the other day, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to get an order in it, 203, but I didn't. I was too busy with the shop.
I lost you at on YouTube.
How about now? Still out?
No, I think you're good. Yeah, you're good.
Alright, look, pay attention, man. Look at this peak right here. Testing 2. Right, $2, $2, $2. Test 2 becomes resistance. Didn't even make it. Breaks through. This is the perfect example of what I was telling you earlier. Look, check this out. Look at this little island here, the little area of consolidation. And this may not be too relevant because it was... Actually, no, this wasn't too long ago. But look, usually, more often than not, when you got area like this, okay, you got a lot of trading going on, a lot of volume going in. The people that hold, you see this right here, okay?
Yeah. How long is that time frame?
This is a daily chart, and we're looking back as far as October of last year. So almost a year.
How big is your island right now?
What, this thing? I don't know. That spans about, let's see, December 26th, November 20th. So like a month consolidating.
Okay.
Yeah. But more often than not, man, what happens is when price get back to the same level, usually, if it dips far enough, there's going to be a sell-off. And, you know, you look at it right here. But then there's support, so, you know, you got a little bounce. XOP, man. I blew that trade. Look at that. Wow. You can see this almost kind of looks like WW. You see how it starts rolling over? You know, you got this round top. You got the double top. I can't believe I didn't hold that. And then there's trading under the moving averages. Right? You got the MACD momentum dying out.
I'm sorry, what did you say? You can't believe you hold it?
I just can't believe I wasn't patient enough. But that's because I had too much size, and when I got to break even, I decided I'm not gonna risk it, and I got out. So that's what happened. That's what happened. You gotta, you know, adjust position size. So here goes another one of those little islands I'm telling you about. See it? Right? Now you see directly across from it, right? Now this one's a little overextended now, but and then you got the 200 here, so it's just maybe we test tomorrow and come back up for a bounce. That's big volume there. But man, look at that. If this thing was to bounce back into this is now, let me remove this. You can call this now a big resistance area, okay? All right, there's a lot of trading here. There's a lot of people that went long that are still holding, the bag holders. If this thing was to bounce, and it needs to do it fairly quickly, but not in a powerful way. Just kind of needs to drift up, you know, right up to that $40 level, maybe even as high as 42, 41, 42. That's where I would start picking up some DRIP. But until then, you know, so only on a bounce. This would have been the ideal place to pick up DRIP. This was another place. And like I said, I had mine when I started noticing the signs of rolling over. I just kind of got wore out. And but that's great, man. That's a nice one. Damn. Well then. Chronos. Just got to see what this thing does tomorrow. You know, you got the 50-day moving average. It's going to probably act as support. Maybe. Not necessarily. I don't see too many reactions on that 50. Not much that you can say. Here's one. But nothing too concrete. the 200-day moving average. So sometimes, man, you can't look if you see, like for example, the 200-day moving average didn't have any effect on this. Look, it just kind of buttered right through. There was no like significant bounce, so it's not. The moving average won't be too significant if it doesn't have any reactions off of it. At least that's my opinion. You know, you can see the 20 though does have some reactions here, some support, some resistance. You know, 20, break, resistance on the 20, another break off the 20. So you could argue that the 20 SMA would be more significant than the 200. So, but we got a little stall in price here at the 200. So we'll see. It's got to form something. It's got to, you know, it's too choppy right now. There's really nothing here, long or short. It's got to do something. It's got to have some kind of imbalance. Hey. What else you got? What else are you looking at? XO. I was looking at this. Huh?
Hold on. Not right now.
This may not be a bad idea, this little penny here. Take a look at the monthly. Yeah. It's right up to weekly chart. I'm sorry, what? Twitter. Some people were calling this long or something like that. I didn't look at it at all today. Well, looking at the weekly, again, the last candle, this one doesn't matter yet because the week hasn't finished. So, you know, you got the 20, 13 EMA, you got these two, the MACD turned down, wide open. So long term, is this a buy? No, not. The risk reward is not there. Taking a look at the daily, you could argue that this is a bear flag. Okay. All right, you could argue that this is forming a bear flag. Okay. You also have the 13 EMA, the 20 SMA on a downward slope, which could act as resistance. But you also have the 200-day moving average that could act as support. So it's just like getting pinched, if you will, in between these moving averages. Let's take a look at some levels. 28 is going to be a level. You can see some reactions here around this level, 28. You could say 34 is also a level. You have, oh yeah, a little peek through 34, another test of, several tests of 34 and fail. Trade above 34 but failed, and that was a fail on big volume with a bearish power candle. Right through the 20. 13 EMA became resistance. 20 SMA breakthrough. Another test of 34, another test of 34 and break. Now we're back under 34. So what it took for this thing to finally get through 34 after failing, we're back under. Okay, so we're back under. Now you have several catalysts that indicate a further move down. You know, 13 EMA, 20 SMA. You got the 50-day moving average is kind of slowing down, but this is not too relevant. It's way up here. You know, is this a good long candidate? No, I mean, I don't think so. Could it reverse? Yeah, it could. I mean, it has a couple reasons why. Maybe the MACD starts crossing over and the 200 acts as support, but then you have resistance here at 34, and if you trade long enough, that 20 is going to come in near that 34. So it's just one of these things, man. In this market right now, unless you're day trading, intraday scalping, and usually first hour, there's not much going on. I mean, you can see there's a channel going on here. Bear flag on the daily. Let me delete this line. Got another line to delete here. Yeah, I mean, I'll get closer and draw another line in the sand, and that is 33. I'm actually gonna go to the 1 hour chart. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing there, man. Definitely not a long. I mean, this chart's broken. It would be a long if it powers through 34, and then maybe tries to race, but it's gonna need a catalyst. It's gonna need some kind of new. But we'll see. At this point, it's just a matter of watching it. Maybe it's got better odds of going to 30 than breaking through 34.
And what is the time frame on that?
This is a daily chart right now. I was looking at the 1 hour. Gotta keep in mind too, man, that Twitter has, even though it's gapped down before, it has had some reversals off of, you could see this big move down, kind of reverse. So there's nothing there really. I mean, it's just, can't look at it too much. There's nothing there really. I mean, maybe a short under 30, under this consolidation here. Yeah, chart took a hit, man. It's broken. XO still messing around with but actually closed over 3 today. So you got some resistance, some supply here, which you can see some evidence of that. Right, it tried to trade as high as like 330 or so, but it sold off. So going to the 15-minute. Yeah, you could see it here. 330s hit and immediately sold off, but the dip was bought. This is something important to pay attention to. You wait for these candles to close and you start looking at the price action. Under the 20, dip was bought, but it's still trading under volume weighted average price. These moving averages are up. 200's pointing up. This looks like it's about to cross. This could go for another test of 330. But XO's a volatile, choppy.
What?
XO's volatile stock. It can get choppy. I mean, it could catch you in one of these. You see when it rolled over here, it tried to trade over, spike, failed, and it just rolled over. Boom. You're talking 270 to 233. This will shake some people out, and then right back. This is one of those stocks where you're like, oh shit, if you took in a big position and you're down and you guys scared out and you sold down here to the smart money, the next, then you see it go back up on you. Then you buy it up here and it comes back down. So, best thing ideally you just want to buy this thing on a dip, but This is that kind of market, man. For buying these dips is very tricky. Just very tricky, man. It's very volumes are very.
What is your best advice?
Best advice is just to stay away right now, unless you're day trading the opening and you know there's some charts that are trending, but I'm too short term to hold. You know, I don't have the patience to hold more than a couple days. So, looking at the market, I'm gonna put a daily chart up. You know, try to roll over, man, but you know, it got bought up to this area of support. I have drawn this line a while back. Let me see why. Yeah. So you can see a test of resistance here, a test of resistance, a break. Okay, then another test, then another test. Finally trading over. Now it's become support. So, and actually there was some volume today, but that watch list is mostly red. Look at this thing. That's interesting to note, man. It's you know, the volume was dying out. Okay, and then we get a decent volume on the S&P today, so we'll see. Gotta let it trade out. But that's significant, man. You know, you have some decent volume today, and then a dip buy over 280. So something to keep in mind.
Nice.
BSI. Nice, see?
Oh, you know what? You know what? I've been Helios.
HMNY? Oh, hell no. HMNY?
Is that what it is? Helios?
Yeah, don't. Why are you even looking at this thing? This is the kind of chart that just keeps burning longs, man. Look at this. There's nothing there. Where did you hear this thing? Where did you get this thing from?
I don't remember.
Why'd you even consider it?
I haven't considered it.
Oh.
I just thought about it right now because I was just looking through my chart list and then I was like, oh, I remember this one came up out of somewhere, out of nowhere, and I meant to ask you.
Yeah, this is pure shit. Pure shit. I'm gonna take a look at a couple more stocks. All the stuff that's green. Let's see what it did. I don't even know what. It's got an interesting chart. We'll go back. Yeah, you got some peaks up here. Very slow mover though. No, it's just a very low. Nah, nothing there for me. Arlo. I think this is an IPO. Gotta take a look. Yeah, this was. Not much of anything there. Bunch of choppiness. Lower low, lower. I mean lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low. Got the 200 catching up here, starting to pinch. So you'd have to see this thing push through 20 and close over 20 for it to be in play. So maybe just put it on the back burner, watch it. PFIE. So many stocks I've watched and I no longer need to have on here. So this kind of looks like the OSDK drop. Yeah, man. That's horrible. That's just ugly. Totally engulfed the entire thing. Something's. I mean, this thing does trade crazy like that, but.
What is this?
Overstock.
Oh, I thought it was overstocked. That motherfucking thing.
It's because you're so used to looking at those line charts, man. You can't recognize it. Complete failure off the 200-day moving average. You can see the 200 is more significant. Look at this reaction here. See that?
Yeah.
You got a reaction there. You got some reactions here. Maybe even here. So what happens when, I mean, this would have been if you were in and you ended up here on a long, that you don't question it. You take profits into that. Okay? You know, if you were long here and you know you gapped up in the morning, stock ran on you, you don't question it. You take some off. You pay yourself. But this is just right back at support, and I don't think it had a significant bounce. Nope. This thing is probably, man, probably dips on the 30, does a push, and then back over. Considering, you know what, that would be actually, you know, considering, look, we got a dip under 28 here. Damn, holy shit, man, it gives 148, man, 30 to 40. That's a big drop, man. So maybe a dip and a pop through.
Are we setting ourselves up for a bigger one?
What? Say what?
What is that chart?
Overstock, man.
I know, but what's the date on that chart? What is the chart?
This is daily time frame.
Okay.
Okay, so all I'm saying is, I wouldn't touch this thing right now. Just let it trade out, because this thing is tricky, man. You gotta pay attention to it. But this is, matter of fact, I ain't even gonna look at it. There's some penny stock pump and dump situation. I don't even know what. See, here's another pump and dump.
She's gonna go all the way to 20 something, man. Like 20, 25, and then bounce right back the fuck off. Watch.
Whatever. I mean, I'm done with that stock.
I don't know if it hits like 27, bro, I wanna buy it.
It has to do it fairly quickly then.
It's coming.
Jones Energy didn't do shit. Mass Roots not moving at all with the pot stocks. CRC, I don't even know why I have this thing here. I'm gonna remove that from my watch list. INTV, this gave some huge gains back in the day. Well, just last year.
What?
All this stuff ran with the crypto craze. So just keep them on the. I just kept them on there because they were giving some trades here and there, but you never know. Crypto may pop back up, and you're gonna get some of these. So I'll keep them on watch for a long time. You just remember, man, they're former runners, so you keep them. You watch them. You get to know them over time. But for now, they're dead as shit. Nothing there. WTI, dries, shippers. Shippers can get pretty crazy towards the end of the year. But this turd also came in. Man, a lot of shit. The Chinese ADRs are getting hit. I mean, there's... You gotta also understand, they ran like crazy. Look at this. Huya gapping down 2 days in a row. IQ probably doing the same. Yep. Sogo probably doing the same. Billy probably doing the same. Now look at this candle right here. This is a hammer. On volume. You could, because this fucker can squeeze. Look at this candle. You're looking at this? This is a hammer at the bottom of a downtrend. Okay? Does not mean it's a buy.
Really?
What?
Go ahead.
This is a reversal type candle. But don't, actually I wouldn't call it a reversal, but a possible trend change candle. So there's a good chance that the trend may reverse here, but it could go side.
Is there a good chance that it will reverse up or that it will reverse down? Well, it's already going down.
Right. Well, there's a good chance that the trend will change. So it may mean that you can only go 3 ways: up, down, or sideways. That's it. So there's a good chance that it could go sideways. It could also pop a short-term move up, but there's not much meat left in the bone. You got, even if, let's say tomorrow you kind of open weak and it starts holding 10, and then you break over here, you break over 1030-ish or whatever, there's not much meat left in the bone. Maybe for a day trade, because you got some big resistance here at 11. And by the time this trades out, you're going to have the 13, you're going to have the 20 catching up. So risk reward is not really there for this trade. But it's a good one to watch. Maybe you might be able to learn something. Maybe this thing does. Let's see. Yeah, man, this is right up to the 20 on the... Yeah, it's a good one to watch. I wouldn't necessarily say this is by any means. By any means. You got better chances doing a short on it. Maybe on a pop through like 1070, 1090-ish, somewhere around here, this area. If it shoots up in the morning with no catalyst, no news, nothing, it's just kind of, that might be a short opportunity, but you gotta be on your toes, man. This market's pretty crazy. Not crazy, but it's just shitty. Anyways, man, I'm gonna look at a couple more and then I'm out. I'm getting tired. MU, that's a fan. It's a fan favorite. That's also coming in. A lot of these charts are coming in, man. They're not bouncing. They're not giving no bounces whatsoever. Like you can see right here, they come in, they bounce. Come in, they bounce. Coming in, bounce. But we're not seeing that right now. So, and this is just broke under the 200. It's not pretty for this stock. It's probably overextended as well. Let me take a look. The weekly chart. Take a look at the monthly chart. Got a lot of wicks. Signs of exhaustion. 3-year week. Testing the 50 if it breaks. Remember that little island I'm telling you about, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Here's one of those, okay? So you gotta watch out this level. This area here. Especially, you know what? You know where this stock would be a good buy? If, and only if, it were to pull down to sell off down to like 35. Somewhere in the 35s would be an area to look at for a possible buy. I'm not saying it's going to be a buy. It depends on what happens. You know what I mean? If we get a nasty sell-off to 35 in the morning fairly quickly, it might not be a bad spot to do a starter trade to see if, how significant a bounce. So, you got starting to trade under the 20. You can see kind of start rolling over. MACD is pointing down, wide open. So not a long, but maybe in the 35. Maybe I'll put an alert here on this somewhere right here. Alert at or below. and just let it play out. SGMD, man, I made some bank on this stock. It's a little penny. And I mean, I only held it from, I bought it right here, 3 something, and I literally sold like 80s or 9, or I'm sorry, 8 cents or 9 cents. But then this thing exploded. Shit would have been crazy. Anyways, that's one I'm watching for a while. It's actually got a real product, a little penny stock, related to the marijuana sector. But it's on its way down. All these usually stay in the gutter, so we'll see. Let's see, Loma. Still looking at the weekly. What the fuck? Daily chart, daily chart. Yeah, most of this stuff, man, it's just over. It's just up too much. Not up too much, but it needs some rest. You know, you had a triple top here. 1, 2, 3. You could also call that the start of a head and shoulders pattern. You know, obviously a head and shoulders doesn't mean it's a head and shoulders. It needs to confirm with a break, and you know that's after the fact. JD, remember this one, man? Another gap down. $32. You know, let's print in a. You would call that also a reversal candle, but not in this market, man. I doubt this thing has any bounce. Take a look at the 1 hour. Yeah, shit don't look pretty. Yeah, you can see this bear flag. Bear flag. Bear flag. This is a perfect example of some bear flags right here. Okay. You see a big drop like this, and then you see this slight move up on almost like very low volume. Here you go, another bear flag. Here we go, another bear flag. So what do? What is the most likely thing to happen? You have these guys trending down. 13 EMA has been acting as resistance. You know, if we continue this here, right? Price moves up to here. What is the most likely scenario? Is it a long? No. It would just be a very low probability long. Is it a short? Maybe. Depends on how the overall market is behaving. You know, but your short would have been, you know, at the break, you know, better risk reward scenario. So, but yeah, look at this. This is a perfect example. Stair stepping on its way down. So, you know, this is not something you'd buy. This is something you'd sell or not touch. Pretty interesting. I'll take a screenshot of that. Anyways, man, I think that's it for tonight. I'm gonna try to do this again tomorrow at 10. And then we'll just go over some stocks. But it's probably gonna be pretty slow. I'm not gonna be watching too much this month. I think I'm gonna finish the office at the shop, and hopefully starts picking back up September, October, and get back into the swing of things. All right, man. I'm gonna sign out.
I'm trying to figure out what the hell just happened. Just lost you for a second. Hold on.